Good morning to you. 7:45 at I-Fiber 1. I'm Jeff Slakey. It is Earth Week here, and Saturday is Earth Day. I'm happy to have a great guest in studio who's put a big mark on Shelton and Shelton to the top. It's Kevin Schmelzlen. Good morning, Kevin. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing great. How are you doing?
Good to see you. I'm doing well, and was checking out. I knew I was going to have you try to come on to talk about an upcoming cleanup this weekend, kids cleanup. But then I see on your Shelton to the Top Facebook page last night some additional exciting news that Smoke and Moses volunteered to provide lunch for some volunteers. So let's talk about first the kids cleanup this weekend and where it's going to be, how people can get involved, things like that.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be, our Kids Day cleanup is going to be this Saturday at Kneeland Park at 10 a.m.
Okay.
The whole idea for this Kids Day cleanup was actually originated last year as one of our very first cleanups for Shelton to the Top. The local Girl Scout troop said, we'd really like to get involved. What can we do? How can we partner with you on this? And we set up this event also at Kneeland Park last year. Had a great cleanup of the park and the surrounding area, met up afterwards for lunch, and everybody had a great time. And we thought it was so successful and inspired a lot of these kids that want to take action and clean up their neighborhoods, that, let's do it again. And fortunately, Smoke and Mose volunteered, and the city of Shelton's been a great partner as well on this.
So when I drive by and walk around Kneeland Park, it doesn't look, how do we put this? Doesn't look as bad as some of the photos that you've posted of other areas the cleanup has been. So how much do you anticipate? How much was picked up last year?
So we do a few kinds of cleanups for Shelton to the Top. We clean up a lot of abandoned homeless camps and dump sites. I'd say the bulk of our cleanups, and definitely the overwhelming majority of the weight of trash that's picked up, are in those kinds of cleanups. And then we also have our street side and litter cleanups, which this is one of those. You tend to not get those same before and after photos, because the trash is dispersed. It's not all concentrated in one large area. But we picked up several large trash bags last year of trash, and we did specifically want a kid-friendly site this year. So Kneeland Park and the surrounding area, fortunately, it's not too bad. The city's actually been doing a good job with their municipal jail crew going out there and picking up around the city. But there's always trash in certain pockets around the park. The train tracks behind the old Simpson Company tracks behind the park. There's always trash down there. So there's going to be a lot to pick up, but it won't be a dump site.
So
we're
not breaking records here, but we're just kind of introducing the kids to a good chance to give back to the community and learn about cleaning up.
That's right. The cleanup will be a little over an hour, so it's not going to be extremely intensive, but it'll be a good opportunity for kids to go out there and actually make a difference for our city.
Shelton to the Top is on Facebook at facebook.com/Shelton to the Top. Also, you have sheltontothetop.weebly.com. And there are RSVPs, especially for this upcoming weekend, because Smoke and Mose needs to know how many folks are anticipated. Nowadays, how many people do you got coming out to your events here? It seems like you've got one almost every weekend or so, and it really seems like people are still, there are times when people will come up with these types of ideas and they'll be really popular for a long time, and then winter happens or something happens and interest wanes. But this Shelton to the Top effort that you have started really seems to have some staying power.
I really think it does, and I'm extremely proud of how successful it's been and how it's grown, and the partnerships that have been created with Shelton to the Top. But yeah, definitely, and we did start to see interest wane, or at least participation wane, as we went into the rainy season. And obviously it was a very long, very wet, very cold winter this year.
Could be still going on as far as we know, too. I mean, it is still a mess. I can't believe the weather that it has been. So has it really impacted the numbers for folks? Or?
We did start to see the amount of volunteers start to drop. Yeah. But for the first 8 months or so, we were doing weekly cleanups every weekend, and it was tough, and it's also difficult for people, I think, to be motivated to show up to one particular cleanup when they know the next week and the week after there's also going to be cleanup. So we actually did switch to a once a month format with opportunity to have more cleanups as necessary in between. And since we switched to that format, we've actually been seeing a lot of people show up.
Okay.
We've been having about 20 volunteers at each of our cleanups. We actually had 2 cleanups a couple of weeks ago where we had about 15 people for our first cleanup and about 35 people for the second cleanup.
Wow.
We're expecting 30 to 40 for the upcoming Kids Day, although we'd love to have more. So if people want to RSVP, that'd be great. But yeah, we expect to keep on seeing large turnouts. And I think as long as we keep on making an impact and transforming our area, I think people will keep on showing up.
It is at 10 o'clock on Saturday, so that will get. And how long are you thinking?
We're going to have lunch at 11:30, so be a little over an hour of actual cleaning up.
Well, that will give folks plenty of time then to head over to Loopfield for the Science for March, the March for Science that's coming up. So that's going to be a big day, a lot of events. You can RSVP, and it is encouraged for this upcoming weekend's cleanup, 10 o'clock at Kneeland Park for Shelton to the Top. So thankful to Smoke and Mo's volunteering to provide lunch for this Kids Day cleanup. And again, you can find them on Facebook, Shelton to the Top. Also, sheltontothetop.weebly.com. We'll, of course, put the links in the interview notes here as we get this posted on the website. So after this month, what is the next on tap for Shelton to the Top?
Well, we're going to have
And it's not, I'm sorry. Before you go here, it's not just Shelton anymore, though. You're outside the city limits. Even you're going in parts of the county, too, right?
That is accurate.
Kinda off
Yes. Yeah. I'd say since early on, we've worked a little bit outside city limits. So we'll work within the city and then also outside, really I call it the greater Shelton area. Sure. But I have started to do some presentations, for example, at North Mason High School, trying to inspire the students there to just look at things a little bit differently and realize that they can make the change that they want to see. Because I think throughout Mason County, one thing I've spoken a lot about is this kind of low morale in the city of Shelton. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a county-wide problem. And so when I speak to North Mason, just like within Shelton, I hear, the students saying, there's just not a lot to do here. I wish there was more. I wish, we had a better reputation. I just don't think it's that great of an area. And I think that's starting to change. But that's something that, especially with the constant flow of people, people don't necessarily stay in one spot within Mason County. They kind of move around a little bit. I know a lot of people that move from Shelton to the Belfair area or vice versa. I think it is important to have that larger geographic transformation, but we are still focusing on the city of Shelton and the greater Shelton area.
Is it hard to get kids interested in doing this? Now, I know last year this was the first cleanup and it was kind of spurred on by the Girl Scout troop there, but other than that, do you find it a little difficult to engage the high school students, or is there a way through social media that you're able to do it, to tag people and share photos, stuff like that? Have you done any of that kind of stuff? I don't.
From what I've heard from the students, they're actually really excited about this and are really happy that this is happening.
Huh.
I think, the youth that are growing up here, they don't have choice. They didn't choose to move here. They don't necessarily feel like they have an immediate way of changing their life and their surroundings, their environment, I think. So I think the fact that we are actually going out and making this immediate impact, I think speaks to them.
Sure.
Speaks to a lot of the youth. And, they are going to create their future. At least that's how I see it. They're going to make the future that they want, or they're going to let others make their future for them. And so when I go out and speak to these students, both in Shelton and elsewhere, that's a message that I bring is you're responsible. If you want to have the future that you want, you need to make that future for yourself. And, that's what Shelton to the Top is about. And I think that really resonates with especially the younger generations here.
You don't have to comment on this, but this just popped into my head here. A lot of times folks, older generations kind of talk down on the kids as needing instant gratification. You get your instant text messages and your instant this and that. But this works in perfectly for that, because in the morning you show up to a site and it looks like junk. A few hours later, it's clean and looks beautiful. And you see the side-by-side photos, and there's your instant gratification on that one.
Exactly.
Huh. Kevin Schmelzlen, it's always nice talking with you. Shelton to the Top. Find him on Facebook. Find him on the website there, sheltontothetop.weebly.com. RSVP for this Saturday. Smoke and Mo's needs to know, so they can provide some some food for the volunteers. And Kevin, keep me updated on things, upcoming cleanups and things like that.
Will do.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.